Welcome, friends, to the another episode from Pastor's Desk. And today's topic is, sometimes God answers our prayer according to His will because His plans are better than ours. There's a beautiful story about a tree that was on a hill. And each tree had their own aspiration, had their own plans and desire to become something in life. And eventually, their desire became their prayer. The first tree had a desire in its heart that it wanted to become a treasure chest where people would keep their precious jewels, germs, and precious things. And that eventually became the prayer of that tree. The second tree had a desire to become a mighty ship so that it can carry the kings and queen across the ocean. The third tree had a prayer that it wanted to become so tall that people from far off would look at the tree and think about God and heaven. Years went by. This tree had their desires and their prayer constantly being prayed for. One day it happened that some woodcutters came to the forest and they saw these three tall trees and decided to cut them. The first tree was cutted, the second and the third likewise. And they sold that log in the market. The first tree was bought by a carpenter, and the carpenter decided to make this tree into a feeding trough where fodders for cattle can be put. When it was made into a fodder box, the tree thought its desire of becoming a treasure box had vanished. It got so disappointed that it prayed for so many years and its prayer had become vain. The second tree that the carpenter took, he made it into a small boat for fishing. And someday a fisherman came and bought that small boat. This boat thought its dream and prayer of becoming a mighty ship had lost. Its prayer for so many years had gone vain. The third log, the carpenter took. He cut those logs and he threw it into a dark room for years. The third tree thought that the tree of becoming tall and that people would think about heaven, all those prayers had disappeared. My friends, what happened is, one day, a woman and a man came to a stable. They did not have any place. Therefore, they laid their newborn baby into this trough box. Do you know who it was? It was Jesus Christ. He is the treasure of all that heaven has. You know, the second tree that had become a small boat had a desire to carry kings and queen. One day, Jesus sat on that boat. He crossed over Galilee. Do you know that boat was carrying the kings of kings and the Lord of lords. And the third tree who had a desire to become something great. One day a Roman soldier came and took that log from that dark room, placed it on somebody's shoulder. That person had to carry that log to the place called Golgotha. Eventually, that tree had become cross, a symbol that connects man to God. Whenever people would look at a cross, they will think about heaven and God. You see how God answered each of their prayer in a different way, but ultimately their plans, the desire they had, got fulfilled. My good friends, Bible says God's ways are not our ways, God's plans are not our plan. As heavens are high above the earth, so great is His plan towards each one of you. Sometimes when our prayers are not answered the way we think, the way we expect it, remember always, God has something better in store for you. May the good God bless you through this word. Amen.